You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Zach. And Adam,
Hi.
I'm looking at your screen here.
Yeah.
And what I think is not odd. Odd is the wrong word. But what I think is unique about this week is that you're not alone.
No, I am joined by, just the most amazing person in
Oh, he's so tongue-tied.
the...
Oh.
This is a weird energy. This is not the energy we normally have in the intro of our podcast.
Oh, look, he's blushing.
Yeah, Dr. Anna Peppard is here. She's sitting right to my left. And we invited her on because this week we have a Patreon request for some Nightcrawler stuff, right?
This is true. Hi, Anna.
Hey, Zach.
You know what? I want to be very clear. And I told Adam this. I said, hey, we're talking about Nightcrawler next week. So if Anna is interested, she's allowed to join. I also then had to follow up is Anna can join anytime. It's not just about Nightcrawler. I just know my friend's special interests.
It's not my show, but when I did hear that two of the issues that you were talking about this week were two of my particular favorite issues, I was like, all right, well, it would be dumb if I was just here in the other room hearing half of this conversation. I'm here.
I knew you would want to talk about these, at least the first two.
Yeah.
I do wonder what your experience is like only getting Adam's half of the podcast.
Because I'm a fan of the podcast, I listen to the podcast. I listen to both of you talk about the comics after hearing part of Adam's one-sided conversation.
This is incredible. So you get 50% spoilers, and then you're like, something set Adam off, and I don't know what. I'm gonna have to piece that together after the edit.
Why was Adam laughing uproariously last week? Oh, it's because Zach made a joke about Julio in the stretch.
It's possible I stole that joke too. I can't even tell anymore.
I don't know, but it really cracked me up.
I'm glad it made you happy, and I'm happy that Anna's here.
Of course.
For folks who don't know, Anna is what's your official title?
Official title?
Yeah, you had an official Nightcrawler based title before, yeah?
PR.
Oh, I mean, I was at one time, though. I think I still am, technically. Kurt Wagner's unofficial PR manager.
Okay.
And our resident Nightcrawlerologist.
You're a Nightcrawler fan. I'm a Nightcrawler fan. Adam, generally a Nightcrawler fan.
Love the guy. Love him.
Pro Nightcrawler content on this podcast.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that thanks to our the fantastic folks over at patreon.com, specifically Jean-Frédéric Roubesch. Jean reached out deep into their hearts and pocketbooks and tossed a couple of coins into our coffers over at patreon.com/battleoftheatom. At the $5 a month level, Jean and anyone else can get a whole episode bespoke, created around one of their ideas. You know how Athena jumped fully formed out of Zeus's brain?
We're getting mythological.
I think that's appropriate for Nightcrawler. He's got this whole demonic thing going with him. A lot of folks like to lean into that, and generally those stories are atrocious, but people keep trying.
I mean, I am glad that Nightcrawler's not bamfing out of my head. That's not a good thing, but
right. But the idea bamfed out of Jean-Frédéric's head and came into this world, and we are merely the vessels for it. I think that this metaphor is good. Anyway, give us money is really the roundabout. I'm a professional salesperson. I don't know why I'm so bad at this part of the job.
You're doing
$5
great.
a month. You can do whatever you want. It's great. Thank you, Jean-Frédéric. And Jean-Frédéric wanted us to talk about Nightcrawler stories where there's multiple Nightcrawler-y things or different Nightcrawler-y things than we're used to. So we have 3 stories with different Nightcrawler-y things, starting with one that has a lot of main Nightcrawler-y thing. That's Excalibur 16 and 17. This is part of the Cross Time Caper. Anna, This is an issue I assume you have some fondness for. Would you like to kick us off here?
I'm sure. Yeah, classic Nightcrawler issue. I couldn't believe that you hadn't done it on the podcast yet. I believe I've mentioned it to Adam a few times, though I didn't pay you guys $5 to talk about it.
This is true. This is true. And you know what? That's a personal failing, but I am going to forgive you for it. No, we have not covered most of the Cross Time Caper.
No.
Because in my personal opinion, very uneven storyline.
It goes on for way too long, and it's hard to divide up into little chunks, and we were never going to do the entire thing as one arc, even though I think somebody may have asked us to at some point.
We would have said no. We would have said, we're not doing that.
But I mean, I don't know what you think, but these two issues are like contenders for the best part of Cross Time Caper, in my opinion. They're pretty dang good.
I mean, I think 16 on its own is possibly the most iconic issue from the storyline. I think that's probably true. And I mean, this issue itself is an homage to previous Nightcrawler issues, but then has subsequently become sort of the touchstone for many subsequent Nightcrawler homages over the year. Everybody's going back to this. Claremont and Davis did a callback to it in their 2000s X-Men series. There's been a few other references to it over the years. It's become a very iconic cover and a very iconic story for Kurt in particular.
So this is Chris Claremont and Alan Davis in their initial run of Excalibur. The cover has Kurt standing with a lady on his arms with a sword up in the air. It looks like an old like Conan.
Well, it's a direct parody of John Carter, of
Warlord of Mars.
Warlord of Mars, except it says Kurt Wagner, Warlord of ?
This is true.
Yeah.
In this story, we are being told a story in the story by a mysterious storyteller.
Yes, a hooded figure.
A hooded mysterious
Who could
figure.
it be?
You know what? I'll be honest. I had forgotten. So I was sitting here asking these questions. The scheme of the Cross Time Caper is that Excalibur is taking a train all across different universes. And they sometimes get split up, like happens here, where they get split up and Nightcrawler gets teleported into what looks like a Warlord of Mars style fight.
Yeah, but he gets to swashbuckle, which is really fun.
I mean, whether or not you like the Cross Time Caper, and I think calling it uneven is incredibly fair given how many fill-in issues there are, and many of those fill-ins aren't good. When I say fill-ins, I mean issues that Alan Davis didn't draw.
Yes, absolutely.
But like the central conceit of it, that they're being sent on this like quote unquote caper that doesn't have a plot necessarily. They're not trying to save anybody. They're not trying to accomplish anything. They're just being like dropped into different situations that usually allow like Claremont and Davis to do some kind of genre parody. And all they're trying to do is basically get home, but they're not even really actively trying to do that. It's just stuff happening to them. So either you love that and lean into the Excaliburness of that, or you're like, what's the point of this? And you jump hard off of it. But clearly, as an Excalibur fan, I lean hard into it.
I think this 2 issues works partly because it lets Nightcrawler do some fun stuff. He meets a band of blue sky pirates, including a sexy lady.
Yeah.
Who are
Kithri?
Kiara?
Kimry.
That's right.
Thank you.
Who he later marries in X-Men The End, if that's canon.
X-Men The End is always canon and is always good. And we all support X-Men The End at all times. We were talking about X-Men The End last week.
I feel like it comes up at least once a week at this point.
There's a lot to come up with here. And there's a lot of X-Men The End in this. He lands and starts working with this other sexy lady pirate who seems like she is being terrorized by these blue pirates, Anjali, who he immediately beds.
Oh boy. These are 2 of the, Zach, we were talking last week about that Colleen Wing Misty Knight thing, and you were like, this is the most sapphic thing that Claremont's ever put to page. And not to jump the gun, but there's so much good sexy stuff in these two comics. Like literally every character is dressed in some kind of like dress or drape that doesn't cover their sides. So they're like,
well, most of the people are in this comic are not wearing underwear for at least part of the comic.
No,
it's fair to say.
It's French cut at minimum.
So yeah, like immediately Kurt is getting worn out in the bedroom by this woman who's kind of wearing like a tablecloth. I mean, how else do you describe this dress?
Davis has a talent for getting away with this kind of stuff. I mean, he gets away with so many exploitation images just by, he's got that kind of, good girl style where he gets away with this kind of thing. And yeah, he's getting away with like a lot of suggested nudity in these two issues.
He's getting, it's the line between exploitative and sexy is so thin and hard to see, and I do not know, looking at this, how Davis pulls it off, but like it comes off as this is a fun, flirty thing. This is not something you're going to keep under your mattress, but it is embracing that, hey, Kurt Wagner, he's into things. And listen, the other thing that happens in this is like you also have characters like Kitty and Rachel who are wearing similar things, but Kitty is constantly embarrassed and not hypersexualized through it. I'm not saying Alan Davis isn't making people attractive, but like she's uncomfortable, which is in tune with her character, where Rachel is.
And I want to go back to the scene
confident
before they get into those outfits where they have to escape from the alien meat locker that they've been placed in, because that is other way. Yeah, sorry, we're flipping through the pages right now, but what is this scene where she's like she wiggles out of the boots with her like ninja training from Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, and she's like, well, I guess I could help Rachel out, but then I'd have to take her out of her entire outfit and I'd be too embarrassed to do that. And she's like laying like kind of spread out on the ground, dreamily looking up at Rachel, and I'm like, I know last week you said that was the sexiest, like, sapphic thing. I'm like, I don't know. I think this already has a beat,
This, I had forgotten just how horny these issues are. Like, very literally, one of the characters that is being told this story, their character design is female genitalia.
Well,
that is their entire character design.
Not only that, there's like a culminating thing with like a tentacle monster in the second issue, and there's an alien that's being told the story that is like, oh, hey, I have tentacles. That's how we have sex. And it's like,
is that what's going on?
Is that what's going on here?
Anytime you see tentacles in fiction, yes, that is the actual answer. I have seen The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife. I know what people are into. That's just what it is. The secondary thing on that is
Zach really wanted to go on the record for like, I understand tentacle porn, all right? All these people on the internet saying I don't understand it. Take a back seat.
Look, there's a lot of allegations going around here that I don't understand it, and I need people to know that I'm aware. It's not my thing, but I'm not active in the community, but I know what's going on.
As a man who's a connoisseur of culture, I understand.
Oh man, this is great.
Oh, this is a rough one. Anyway, it turns out that sexy lady's actually evil, and sexy other lady is not evil. So they team up and they try and take down Tentacle God, and everyone wins. Kitty kills a dude, like straight up kills the sexy lady.
Yeah, she totally murders her.
Does not come up again. She just murders this lady.
Yeah,
and I believe it's her first canonical murder, like not counting the brood, like that she sort of kills
aliens.
Accidentally.
Don't we all understand it?
Canonical first time she's killed a human being in a comic.
Yeah.
It's weird that it doesn't get more play. Like, it feels like if it was any other story besides we're doing swashbuckly, serial, pulpy alien war story, that this would be an important thing.
Yeah, but there's a lot to keep up with in this story too. Like the whole second issue. So the first issue is much more about Kurt, right? The second
Yep.
issue is much more about Rachel, who gets separated from the group and then returns as sort of like a bondage warrior in these little like space Olympics they're playing.
Hold on.
During like
Returns?
a 3-week party that they're having after having a little vignette with this universe's Jean Grey, who dies again in Rachel's arms.
Appears and then dies in like 3 pages.
Rachel almost gets made a slave for a while and then returns, to which I don't even want to touch that because it's bad.
Which part? The slavers part?
The slavers part's not.
Slavers
so
aren't
good.
great.
The ones that Chris Claremont will continuously bring back multiple times throughout his 21st century writings.
The slavers aren't great. He's making his idea of the Hound mythology is very, I don't know what he's getting at here.
It doesn't really line up here, I don't think. I think it's an excuse for bondage costumes and for Rachel to be like afraid to go back to her former job. I mean, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But like
does then wear a different bondage costume, not the same bondage costume she has been wearing in, and not the bondage costume she was introduced in, but this is a secret, more different bondage costume that looks like I don't know, the guy from the Marvel generic bad guy that throws rings. I forget his name.
Ring Man.
I don't know who he is.
Ring guy.
He's some
the Mandarin has rings.
No, it's not. That's a different, worse stereotype.
What's he talking about? Rings. Throws rings?
There's a guy that throws rings.
All right, we'll figure this out before the episode's over, listeners.
I'm really trying to think of who this is also. Is he purple? I feel like he's purple.
Hold on.
Could be a lot of people.
It's not
Wozak is.
It's not Killer Shriek, but it does look like it looks like a sexy version of the Killer Shriek costume is really what it does look like. But I'll figure out if Killer Shriek's the one that throws rings or if I'm thinking of someone else.
I'm just coming back to this idea of skimming over Kitty killing this woman. I do think that like the story is moving at such a clip that like there's crazy stuff happening in this arc that you don't even bat an eye at because it's happening so crazy. Like the way they defeat the alien tentacle monster in the first place is by feeding it Rachel, and it can't handle her Phoenix power.
Oh, right. There's Vor content. There's also Vor content.
And then in the second issue, Excalibur...
Classic Kurt plan to throw something at something
and
hope it works.
He didn't know. You could have just she could have just gotten digested.
It always works for him.
And then in the second issue, Excalibur dies for the most part, and like Rachel and Megan's are
combine their powers to resurrect everybody, and
they
then
have
everybody
resurrection powers?
And then everybody like leaves this scene, and then it's the kind of thing where they were all really drunk, and so they're leaving this world, they're leaving these 2 issues behind, and they're going to be like, did that actually happen? Like, I think we died. Like, do you guys remember that?
Was there like
no,
a
I don't know.
orgy?
That was like a week ago. Like, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened there.
Alice Stewart also wears sexy clothes in this.
Oh yeah, he's honestly getting some.
Good on Alistair Stewart.
He's rocking a kilt. He's
We had a debate back when we talked about number 17 on GGW about whether Alistair Stewart and Kimri's little like 1-panel scene in issue number 17, whether that's like possibly like the first like
his first encounter.
No, it's just no, I'm just trying to think of like the delicate way to put this. Like, it's so heavily implied that we're seeing on-panel penetration in that scene. It's one of the sexiest things that had explicitly appeared in a Marvel comic up to this point. You can believe that however you want.
No, I'm not bleeping
that's
that.
Fine. We're not a full penetration podcast, but I think the word is like there's no better way to describe it. What I think is funny is right after that panel, because it's on like a 6-panel page. Right after that panel, we haven't talked about Beefcake Lockjaw from this universe. There's also a sexy Lockjaw.
Who
Or
can
no,
talk?
Lockheed. Lockjaw is the dog. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's so important.
I knew what
I
you
bet,
meant.
but Adam, it is equally conceivable that there's a sexy version of Kitty Pryde's dragon and that there's a sexy version of the Inhumans dog. Like,
that wouldn't
both of
surprise
those
me.
are perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. Trying to
Anyway.
find this Alistair panel.
Oh yeah, it's
Did I miss it?
no, you're not there yet. I know where it is.
Hold on, I'll find it.
But I don't know. It's like such a these issue 17 in particular is a mess. It feels like they had 2 issues worth of content and they had to put it in one comic because Davis isn't going to be on the next handful of issues, so maybe they just wanted to get it in there. Which, as we flip to the Alistair panel, but
yeah, she really. They look like they're mid coitus.
Yeah,
for sure.
They are copulating in some way, shape, or form. Which, again, good on them. Everyone is having a great time. Anyway, long story short, Rachel proves herself as actually, I am strong even though I don't have the Phoenix. And then she immediately gets the Phoenix back. She lost the Phoenix for a hot second. Don't worry about it. And then we
the
find out that
turns
actually
out to be Kitty,
who's just telling the story to all of these people that were there.
Well, which begs another question, which you brought up, which is...
Yes. Well, I mean, how does Kitty know about Kurt's sexual experiences? Did he tell her about it, or is she making up a story about Kurt's sexual experiences? Because both possibilities are strange.
Kurt was telling Rachel because he feels more comfortable talking to Rachel about that, and Kitty overheard, or Rachel told Kitty. That has to be how that happened. Because I don't think Kurt would tell 14-year-old Kitty, oh yeah, so first hot tub, and let me tell you what. I do think he would tell 19-ish year old Rachel. Like, she's closer to at minimum, Rachel has had enough adult experiences in her life that it's like, well, you know, you're closer than Kitty is. Because he's not
whatever the
Brian.
case. It makes for an interesting dynamic for how the story is told and the aliens interacting. And there's just a lot happening here. But I feel like this is about as classic Excalibur as it gets.
I mean, it's great. I mean, when Kurt gets dropped onto the pirate ship, I mean, it's a redux of like the 85 Cochrane Limited series. Like him getting dropped onto a pirate ship and having this sex farce adventure and everything. But, you know, cranked up to 11, as they say. And I mean, that long panel at the end of that sequence, you know, the nice sequence where he has the back and forth fight with the pirates on the ship. And then we get the long panel where he's got like the sword in his mouth. Like, that's one of the sexiest Nightcrawler panels, like, in comics history. Just perfect encapsulation of that character. And if you wonder why people love the Alan Davis version of that character, it's right there on that page.
Yeah. It's fun. I would say if you're going to read anything in the Crosstime Caper, it's these two. Like, there's other stuff that's enjoyable here, but I feel like these 2 issues are going to tell you if you like Chris Claremont Excalibur or not. Like, it's got everything's in here.
Yeah. And if you're an Alan Davis, Paul Neary fan, this is really good stuff. The artwork is incredible. You get the action, you get the sexy stuff, amazing costume and character designs throughout. You know, there's a couple of things, like you mentioned, the Jean Mom thing that doesn't work just because it's breezed through too quickly. But I mean, other than that, it's fantastic. So we should probably take a shot at ranking this on our big old list.
Well, that's the thing. And if you've not listened to the podcast before, I don't know how you're listening for the first time here. We do not do a lot of marketing about this thing, but I mean, look, let's call a spade a spade. But we've been ranking every X-Men story from best to worst. We have ranked, and I am not joking, 1,101 X-Men comics, which is too many. We've been ranking them from best to worst, the best being House of X Powers of 10, the 250th best being the Wendigo arc of Uncanny X-Men, the 500th best being Amazing Nightcrawler, 750 being Escape from the Negative Zone, a series of annuals, 1000 being Psylocke and Archangel Crimson Dawn, and the worst X-Men comic of all time is 2099 World of Tomorrow. Anna, I believe you were on for the Amazing Nightcrawler episode. This is better than Amazing Nightcrawler.
Yes. I mean, Listen, I kind of feel like I should bow out of this conversation. This is legit one of my like top 10 comic books, and I know it's not going to be top 10 on
It
the
will.
list. So I don't know if my opinion is going to be valid on this one.
Well, I mean, bare minimum, this is definitely a top 100 comic. I don't see how it couldn't be.
Well, wait, what's at 100?
Well, all the way at 100.
It's a big old list. I understand. You don't have to hurt my feelings.
Uncanny X-Men Volume 2, 14 to 17, which is the AVX Sinister arc. This is way better than that. We have a couple of different... Yeah,
78 on the list is The Righteous Return of You-Know-Who, the Alan Davis's return to the book.
This is better than that.
Is it?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, I would have to chime in and say that this is a lot better than that. I mean, in terms of... I don't know, the multiple layers and depth of this. I mean, everybody kind of gets a character arc. I mean,
I'm getting bullied on my own podcast. I do
don't
not
know,
know why I decided that I should go 2-on-1. That was a mistake on my part.
But here's the thing. When we get Alan Davis round 2, it's still outstanding. There's a reason that's in our top 100, but it is slightly diminished returns from the peaks of the original run. Which is why we have...
And this is one of the peaks of the original one.
Yeah, we have Excalibur 1 and 2 at 57, and Sword is Drawn at 53. I don't think this is as good as either of those.
It is not.
So
it is not. I'm going to put my ceiling...
57 and 78.
I'm going to put my ceiling here, and I think I'm being generous and fair.
Yeah.
This is not better than X-Men Volume 2, 1-3 Mutant Genesis.
At...
71. 71 is Mutant Genesis.
Yeah, I can go with that. I mean, at 72 is the Rogue and Gambit mini. This is absolutely better than that. I don't know.
I'm not going to fight it. Look,
I'm looking up the list. I'm fine with that placement.
You like this more than me, and that's okay. And Anna likes this more than me, and that's okay.
Yeah, but it's in good company. I would put it a little higher.
We have Rogue and Gambit is there, which I think is my favorite thing Kelly Thompson did for X-Men. We have X Factor Endgame, which I know you like. I think is a little uneven, but generally is a lot of fun. E is for Extinction 1-4 from Secret Wars, which I really like. But I know that's, while it's good, I know a lot of it's a me thing. And then we have Multiple Man at 75. Again, I really like it. It is a me thing. I am fine putting it as the new 72.
We're going to do that. I just want to say that if it was just me, it would probably be our new 64.
Ooh, why our new Nintendo 64?
I would put this above X Club and All New X-Men 9-14 and just below Uncanny and New Teen Titans. But
I was avoiding that side of the list because you were not going to catch me arguing about the respective qualities of Joss Whedon and this comic. There was no way I was doing that tonight.
Well,
to help break your tie a little bit, I think if it was just issue number 16, I'd fight for the higher placement. I think issue 17, despite having so much good in it, is a little bit of a mess, pacing-wise and storytelling-wise, and I think that could be your reason for dropping it down.
It is. Thank you for articulating what I am unable to, Anna.
So our new 72 is Excalibur 16 and 17. Earlier this episode, we promised you multiple kinds of Nightcrawler. So we got Warlord of Mars, Kurt. Now we're going to switch to a different kind of Bamfer. You're a big fan of this character, aren't you?
I don't know if I'd say I'm her biggest fan, but I do really like this couple of issues, which I think introduces a really interesting AU to play in. And I mean, she's a character I like a lot. I just wouldn't call... See, listen, one of the folks who used to host the Simply Amazing Nightcrawler podcast is this character's biggest fan, so I'm comparing myself to that. I mean, she's like the world's biggest
fandom comes in many different levels. You don't have to be the biggest fan to be a fan of Nocturne.
Talia Josephine Wagner herself.
Yes, created by and is going to be the creator of these two issues, Jim Calafiore. And this is a Nocturne's Tale, Exiles 41 and 42.
I mean,
before we get into that, I just have to close a loop real quick. The character I was thinking of was Ringer, whose costume does not
Oh!
look even a little bit like it. I was thinking of Killer Shriek's
Ringer.
costume because Ringer and Killer Shriek are both in this episode or this issue of Mark Spector Moon Knight that I read a bunch.
Oh my god.
I love that.
I got them
Okay.
mixed up, but it's Mark Spector Moon Knight number 10. It's the Axe of Vengeance crossover.
I was
Oh.
100% just thinking of Whiplash, who is a totally different character.
I think
so-
Whiplash.
No, see, Whiplash is not in that
Too.
issue. Coach Whip is. And I'm going to be honest, Anna, are you familiar with Coach Whip?
Does Coach Whip have a top ponytail?
No,
Like
that's
Rachel
Killer
did?
Shriek. That's Killer
Oh.
Shriek. I was thinking of Killer Shriek the whole time. Coach Whip is a sexy lady with a whip. That's who she is.
Yeah, Whiplash sometimes has like the green pony.
Oh,
The
right.
Gideon
Whiplash
pony.
does. Okay. That's with the when they were trying to make Whiplash a thing because he was in Iron Man 2 and then they were like, "But wait, Whiplash is a nonsense character that no one cares about."
Yeah, they tragically removed his green ponytail after that.
Boo.
They leaned. I can tell you for a fact they leaned in to his green ponytail. Perhaps not in comics, just because I'm not sure how much he appeared, but in multimedia because there's so many kids things that were still well in circulation when my kids were. My first kid was born like 5 years after that movie, so not that deep into circulation, but like. Green ponytail Whiplash was just a thing, and I was trying to explain. It's like, well, this isn't a character that anyone should care about. They just only had Iron Man characters to deal with, and all of his villains are bad, and then the one that's decent is tragically racist.
Yeah, I'm looking at the images and I'm like, yeah, because I remember him getting a modernized look in the Iron Man comics. I was reading Iron Man at that time, but yeah, like all the like cartoon and multimedia versions of him have him with the classic look. That's very funny.
I don't know how to segue from this back to.
We got to go back to Exiles.
I want to say something in general about these two issues. I'm not the biggest Exiles fan, but the one thing I appreciate about Exiles is when they really nail whoever's working on the book a what if alternate universe in such a way that it actually really makes sense with the characters. Like all of the Comics XF team has been struggling through Age of Revelation because despite
you guys gotta stop doing that to yourselves. You gotta release yourself.
We had
They basically
to stop.
did a protest article last week of like, this is why we hate it and we're not talking about it anymore.
But that despite the sheer number of issues, like I think 25 or something that had already come out, we're all still not buying into like the world or the world building.
And that's 25 issues to establish a world. And these two comic books, even this first comic book, like establishes a world that is succinct, that makes sense, that is intriguing. I think it's really good economical storytelling.
Yeah. Like,
say what you will about Age of X-Man. It did all that in 30 pages.
Yeah. But I believe in this world that is Nocturne TJ's origin, which is what we're exploring here, because right off the bat, we are getting introduced to crazy stuff. This lineup of X-Men is absolutely insane because one of them, they're fighting Apocalypse as this story opens, and the person that Apocalypse is having a fist fight with is Apocalypse's son, or with who's the mom? It's
Who do they say?
Yeah, it is. Oh, who does it say?
His
the
name's
mom is?
Armageddon. He's Jean Grey's mom.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or Jean Grey's his mom. Jean Grey's mom
Yes.
lives in upstate New York.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
slightly
yeah.
upstate. Anyway.
But this is such a great lineup. You've got Kitty. You've got an aging Kurt with an eye patch. TJ, his daughter, is wearing the classic Nightcrawler costume. Thunderbird is still alive.
Which is important to TJ's character at the start of Exiles.
Yes.
So that's why Thunderbird's here.
Yeah. And we learn after this fight is over that the basic dynamic of this world involves a Professor W, which is a disabled version of Wolverine. And their arch nemesis is an amped up Cyclops who's basically taken over as a, Magneto mutant terrorist type. And
Listen,
it works
as a
immediately.
it is hard for me to swallow that pill as a guy who came up in comics during the Cyclops is a terrorist arc, which
Yeah.
much like Krakoa's flaws was very much a thing that it feels like people didn't get the memo of the actual story
Yeah.
about and just got some marketing details. So I'm always skeptical of it, but it's a 2-issue Elseworlds that doesn't matter, so I just need to let it go.
But it's also the kind of thing where, Cyclops is broken here because Wolverine was controlled by Shadow King and killed Professor X, and then I guess later on couldn't stop Jean from dying, right? That's how it goes down.
It's not exactly made clear, but basically it's an escalation of their usual interpersonal battles, and then the death of Jean has just made everything worse.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we get introduced. There's a school here. It's a nice little time, and we get a lot more of TJ's relationship with her father, Nightcrawler.
Yes.
And it's odd because I knew about TJ before I had read any comics about her, and just the knowing about her, I was like, oh, why is Nightcrawler having a kid with Scarlet Witch? Because I got wiki brain on her. Like I wasn't thinking of her as a character.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Like she has to live up to her father, but also she is younger and more headstrong, and also like willing to take more risks. The exact same risks that Nightcrawler would have done in his youth, but now he's the one saying, "Oh no, you can't do this."
I think it's a really nice portrait of them and their relationship, and a nice little fun inversion. I was saying to Adam before the pod that a lot of people have trouble writing Nightcrawler with flaws, like flaws that make sense and extend naturally from his character. This is
Right.
a really good version of flawed Nightcrawler. He's very likable here. He's like basically Logan's like caregiver, and he is being a good dad in some ways, but he's also being a freaking annoying dad and putting all of these sort of expectations on his daughter that aren't fair, and being too hard on her and everything. And again, it being hard on her for exactly the same way that he would have behaved at her age, doing all those usual classic parent things, but, amplified by the superhero space. And I think it's a really smart take on the character. These are flaws that make sense for this version of Nightcrawler to have, and I appreciate that.
I just want to note, because we're flipping through it right now. It just occurred to me right now that Nightcrawler is dressed as a pirate. He has the eye patch. He has a little goatee beard.
He's dressed as the aging Eurotrash that he is how he's dressed.
He has a striped shirt.
It's his Ellis era Excalibur. That's what it is.
Oh,
It's that weird like sash kind of shirt that he was half wearing.
Yeah.
He is
with the goatee. Like that's exactly where they're leaning in, which I
but
like.
He's also dressed like your embarrassing German grandfather.
Oh yes, I
strongly appreciate that.
Meanwhile, they get attacked by Cyclops and his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which includes Rogue, who is now the Super Skrull, a mutant named Hive, which is from the best that I can tell, just like a bunch of spiders.
Yeah, it's like Swarm, except it's spiders.
Which is different than Spiders-Man, which is a bunch of spiders that act like a Spider-Man in unison.
Yes.
You know about Spiders-Man, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Spiders-Man is good, actually. Anyway, I think Hive should come back because I like it when a dude is actually a billion bugs.
I don't know who these other two characters are. It really doesn't matter. I think
Blob, which is rough, and then someone they call White Dwarf.
Radioactive Man. Who's this short white character?
They call it White Dwarf. It's very much Caliban. Like
it does look like Caliban. Yeah.
It just looks like Caliban, and that's fine because it doesn't do anything.
Well, and this is all happening while TJ and a time-displaced Kitty Pryde. So we have a Days of Future Past situation happening
Right.
here.
I
Where,
also forgot that this is
yeah, so their present-day Kitty has been swapped with a de-aged version who is now trying to get back to her world. So they've gone out on the town. They're contemplating all this rebellious stuff like getting tattoos. Doesn't really make sense to me why TJ would want a Celtic tattoo.
Well, in their defense, they do two of the most early 2000s, late 90s teen things, which are both very inappropriate, which is contemplating getting Celtic tattoos and then TJ gets dreadlocks.
Yeah.
So I don't condone these choices, but they are very 2003.
They're of a time.
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
TJ, I've seen both of your parents. You cannot get box braids. Like, you're just, and I know that was her look for a bit, which is they have to bring everything back to that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't.
Yeah. Maybe don't. You know,
Anyway,
who,
unfortunately, Hive is
California-
murdered, which is sad. That's the next thing.
Yeah.
That happens immediately after she gets box braids is that Hive is murdered.
Well, it's important to note that the other character that this really nails is Moira, because Moira is, oh, she's going to help you, Kitty. She'll help you get back. But the California makes a very smart decision to like describe Moira as the person who is only interested in the problem that she's solving at the moment. And once she's like moved on from something, she doesn't care about it anymore. So there's like the radioactive kid in the jar who she gave the legacy virus to.
And she's not interested
That's
in
hold
solving that
on.
problem anymore.
That sounds worse than what happened.
No. He took the legacy virus into himself and then I think cured everybody by absorbing it, but she has become disinterested in the problem of solving how to cure him now.
She did not infect a child with the legacy virus.
I don't know.
That's Life 11 Moira right there.
But it's a start. It's a smart
10X.
storytelling thing because we have TJ narrating all of this, right? So we get both, privileged access to her character and learning a bit more about her perspective, and she's also giving us a really great sort of portrait of this world through her monologue.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I bring all this up is because the radioactive kid does zap the spiders and they're all dead. And Cyclops is like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And then
unfortunately,
then Cyclops kills a child, which is something that happens.
It's hard. It's hard for me to defend Cyclops when he is killing a child.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one thing in these two issues that doesn't work for me is the proliferation of small children who are being like babysat by Warlock, and a very poorly drawn Warlock.
The Warlock is bad.
I like the art in these, honestly, but the Warlock is bad.
It is. Eventually they all kind of get into a whole thing. Cyclops gets killed because TJ uses her powers that if you hadn't been reading Exiles and you just read these two issues, you would have forgotten that she has, which is that she can possess people. So she possesses Wolverine and makes him murder Cyclops.
Well, she possesses the son of Apocalypse and uses his telekinesis to make, there's a little bit of a hat on a hat thing going on there.
Yeah, you are right. I just cannot. Why couldn't she just possess Wolverine?
I don't know how that works.
I mean,
she
like
have the power to control
something psychic, something TK, something. Like, it's all made up. It's fine. But
yeah,
it's very much a guy who is so obsessed with getting all of the tiny details about all these power interactions, right? Like it's a dungeon master's guide.
Yeah.
That you sacrifice storytelling clarity.
It doesn't bother me though. Like, because I'm still impressed that within 2 issues, I'm willing to accept that there's an Apocalypse kid living in this mansion who like can't lay down because the bed is too small for him.
That's the funniest thing that actually happens.
Like, there's these great little moments that this does very intelligently, and I buy this world. I get it. So it's pretty fun. I think
I think the portrait of the world too, where TJ is being raised as this second or third generation X-Men character, like she's raised in the X-Men, and how would that change your perspective on things, right? She's this, X-Men old head who knows everybody, all the X-Men, her aunts and uncles and everything. And yeah, that kind of lends a good perspective to where she's coming from at the start of Exiles, if you're into that kind of thing.
I feel like there are people, and we've talked about Exiles plenty on this show. You are either an Exiles person or you aren't, and never the twain shall meet. Like,
I do like Exiles. I like Exiles more than the two of you. I know that.
I like a lot of Exiles. I mean, we've encountered individual arcs of it that I've been a big fan of.
Literally,
some of them work.
The most
some of
I've
them
ever
don't.
cared about Exiles was when there was a D-list X-Men character on Exiles. That is how you get me invested. I cannot be invested in these spin-off variants of characters that I already know and like. It's just not for me. It's why I hate that for a while everyone was like, everything we need to do needs to involve the multiverse in some way, shape, or form. It was a surefire way to get me turned off on literally anything.
I think this works. It works as a great what if. It works as a good origin story for Nocturne. And maybe the only thing that doesn't work is the fact that Wolverine was clearly reading Ayn Rand when they get attacked, and it's
I
like
forgot about that one. Okay, so
we were debating who was reading it, Logan or Kurt, but I think it's Logan's hands that fall open.
Kurt would not be reading Ayn Rand.
I don't think so.
I don't. Anna, how much do you think Kurt reads?
Not much, to be honest.
Yeah, like I don't
think he's a big reader type.
He doesn't feel like someone who would read anything more challenging than like an airport pulp novel. Wolverine, I could see wanting to read philosophy and then settling on Ayn Rand. Like, there's a lot of Ayn Rand philosophy that overlaps with Wolverine and what he is into. And I'm saying that he is more susceptible to that than some other X-Men characters.
There's probably an epic story from his past where they had a romance.
Hold on. I do want to hold on. They would never let you do it, but you could put a train heist in there. That's the only thing I know about any God. Ayn Rand is Atlas Shrugged has trains. Is it about how good trains are? Is that the one that's about?
Zach, I'm not reading it to find out. Let me ask you this: at 373 on the big old list, we have the first two issues of Exiles. How do you think this compares to that?
Even-ish to as good as.
Okay.
Like it's because the next one we have is Jeff Parker's Exiles at 489, and then at 512 we have the first five Exiles that Saladin Ahmed and Javier Rodriguez did, which by the way, I just read Absolute Martian Manhunter. That book's a hoot and a half because of one, Denise Camp is an incredibly solid writer and actually tries, which is such a rare thing in comics. But oh my gosh, Rodriguez is already so good.
He's so good. So good. Well, at 400 right now, we have Ultimate Comics X. I think this is better than that.
This is better than Ultimate Comics X. I don't know if Anna has strong opinions on Ultimate Comics X.
I'm going to stand up for this being better than it.
Yeah.
That's fair. All
right, so
not
we know
a
we're
big fan of. Don't remember her name. Karen Grant. I'm sorry. Not a big Karen Grant stan over here.
I think this is better than a 385 Long Shot Saves the Marvel Universe.
It is.
It's not as good as Hearts of Darkness.
380 is Hearts of Darkness. Yeah. I was reading some Ghost Rider the other night.
Nice.
It's just a thing I do now.
This is not as good. Is Captain America?
This is not as good as Cap Wolf. No.
Yeah, Cap Wolf's at 382.
I'm sorry. You're not going to get. I'll put it above. I will put it above my beloved Supernovas, X-Men 197 to 199 Red Data.
Yeah, that's right.
That.
Okay, so this is our new 383, Exiles 41 to 42, a Nocturne's Tale. And Zach, we have one story left.
Boy.
Which last week, you and I acknowledged, I don't remember on air or off air.
It was off air. It was off air.
We had found an X-Men comic that neither of us had heard of, which is shocking.
Folks, do you know how rare it is in my life now for there to be new X-Men content? Like X-Men, no, weekly, that happens, but I'm used to that. I know that. When I find out that there's new X-Men content that has been around and I just was not aware of, it has happened in the last year twice, between that and X-Men Twisted Science, a comic that you could only get on America Online. And this one is shocking that I didn't hear about it. It's X-Men First Class, The High Hand. This is a one-shot custom edition comic that came in as a, quote, special feature on the Blu-ray release for X-Men First Class. And Adam, offline, I said I was going to look at it, and I immediately forgot the moment I walked out of my room.
No, you didn't check?
Look at the Blu-ray of X-Men First Class. If I remember to do it afterwards, I will record a quick thing that you can time travel in here and say if it really is on my copy. Actually, that's not good content for anybody. That's just us doing a bit for ourselves. I'll just text you is what will happen now. I'll just text you, my friend. Maybe I'll leave it as a voice memo so that you can know for sure and feel like we added it into the podcast.
Sure. So this is written by Matt Cody. It is penciled by Bong Dazo. And this is a very strange tie-in comic that is supposed to not... we got to be very clear about which X-Men First Class we're talking about here.
The one that they did a Blu-ray release for.
Yeah, it is the movie. And much like a lot of the X-Men movie tie-in comics, this makes very little attempt to try and evoke the images of the actors portraying the characters. And
which may be a rights issue.
Maybe, but yet also makes all the effort in the world to maintain the worst costume of X-Men First Class.
The poorly fitting bra and the strange sock miniskirt. Whatever that is.
Looks like
that
bath
Emma
towel.
wears. I want us to step back for a second.
Yes.
We don't talk about the movies all that much.
No.
How do you guys feel about X-Men First Class?
Oh boy, I've got an anecdote about this. I was
love to
so
hear
excited when this movie came out. Like, I went to the midnight screening and I specifically showed up in what I thought was a very like nerd fancy outfit. Like, I remember wearing like disco pants, a like X-Men shirt, a fur jacket on the back of my then boyfriend's scooter. And like there were TV crews there and I was so ready to get interviewed and be the face of this film. And no one interviewed me, which was very tragic. But at the time I was just, it had color in it and that was enough to get me excited about an X-Men movie. So I was a defender of it for many years, but I've subsequently been talked out of my enjoyment of this movie by conversations with other people, including Adam, who really hates this movie. And I can't defend it. I can't defend it on any level other than the fact that at the time it had yellow in it, which seemed like a big improvement over the previous X-Men movies.
It did have a lot of yellow in it. Adam, I guess I'm unaware of how much you hate this movie.
I think if listeners remember correctly, over the years, I have talked about my biggest pet peeve of all superhero movies, but mostly X-Men movies, is X-Men movies where we are constantly just going back and putting the team back together as opposed to the team just going on an adventure. And First Class is another one of those movies, of which there are many. The other thing that just drives me absolutely insane about this one is that it gets so much wrong in terms of its casting, in terms of its characterization, in terms of, the random characters. The reason, folks, that we're talking about this comic on a Nightcrawlers episode is because this is one of only like a dozen comic books that Azazel actually appears in on page.
And this is specifically X-Men First Class Azazel, who is just a guy because they thought the Nightcrawler design was neat.
Yeah, he's red Nightcrawler. He's color swapped Nightcrawler.
Does he speak? No.
No.
Did they get the same actor back when he appeared in Deadpool Wolverine? Absolutely not. He's just, he's so interchangeably red Nightcrawler. He does do he does do the cool thing where he teleports somebody in the air and just drops them very casually and very
It's
cool.
great. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
rules.
This does have that kind of like start of X2 energy when Azazel does do his attack, where he's just kind of like boof, 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 and like cutting people up.
It's the whole reason he's in the movie is to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's cool.
That part's cool.
As a movie, I don't think X-Men First Class is great. I do get enjoyment out of it. I like the Charles and Magneto, like they're the center of the movie and they have a really good chemistry together. Fassbender and James
McAvoy.
whatever James's last name is that you
McAvoy.
said. whatever it might be.
You don't have to say it.
There's no way of knowing what
There's
his
no
last
way to
name
know.
is.
No.
But between how James interacts on this, like I like that. The Magneto, those two characters are good, and then there's the rest of the movie, which is
that's what everybody forgets. Is everybody remembers the Magneto killing Nazis scene, which is amazing. Everybody laughs at the Wolverine cameo, which is pretty great, and everybody forgets that the rest of this movie is about Kevin Bacon wanting a helmet and injecting himself into the Bay of Pigs conflict.
it's the Cuban Missile Crisis, but yeah,
Cuban Missile Crisis. Sorry.
Which I only learned about through Metal Gear Solid 3, by the way. We can move on.
God bless Kevin Bacon. He's a great guy. I think he's just a real nice sweetheart, but Sebastian Shaw, he is not. January Jones, coming off of Mad Men fame, is probably the most dead-eyed, like worst casting for Emma Frost that you could have ever picked. And I will say one thing about this
bad
comic
casting
book,
or is it bad directing with Emma?
It's
like,
both.
I honestly don't
It's
know.
both. It's everything from the costume to the casting to the directing. It's just bad. And this is what I will hand to this comic book. This comic book nails January Jones's Emma Frost, because this is a comic book that suggests that, that Emma Frost is somehow the, like, I don't know, like
some sort of gangster's mole who
Yeah.
doesn't understand her own powers until Sebastian Shaw tells her that she can do more.
She's a weak woman with no agency.
Yeah.
Which
isn't that true of all the X-Men movies?
Yeah.
Hold on. You're not going to catch me defending them. I'm just thinking for a second.
Trying to come up with an exception. Look how hard you're having to think.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's
Mystique has agency in Days of Future Past.
I think
Sure.
once they let her like speak in the movies, she gets a little bit more agency.
She also
Agreed.
can't wear clothes.
Okay, people got so mad at Jennifer Lawrence for being like, it sucks to be covered in all this stuff, and I signed on to these movies when I thought these were going to be my big break, and it wasn't.
Mhm.
So I am contractually obligated to do these not great films. As I am older, I am more and more understanding of her position in here, and her increasing
100%.
frustration is like, why am I in these?
Yeah. Why are you sticking all this stuff to me? While the comic book does kind of nail the January Jones thing, what's really weird about this is that the Sebastian Shaw is just
It's
Sebastian.
just comics, Sebastian.
Yeah, it's just John Byrne's Sebastian Shaw.
It's not
It
Like,
was
Kevin
so
Bacon.
weird because I'm reading this and it took me until we were talking about it for that to work to click, because I'm reading this. I'm like, Sebastian Shaw's in the comic. Yes, that's Sebastian Shaw. That's what Sebastian Shaw looks like. Forgetting that I'm like, wait, no, he's supposed to look like Kevin Bacon this specific time.
it doesn't.
Not even a little. That's what,
No.
but my brain is like, yes, that's what Sebastian Shaw looks like. Why would I register this as a weird thing that is notable?
Yeah.
As I think it just breaks your brain having this version of Emma Frost standing next to comic book Sebastian Shaw, because that's what it does to me. Just
It is
unbelievable.
It is odd. Riptide and Azazel get to do cool things. That is my favorite thing about the X-Men movies is that they are very much created by someone who does not like X-Men or care about X-Men, but does have access to a list with no context of code names and powers. And
I mean,
saying,
somewhere
we can use these.
somewhere, just because we've mentioned X-Men First Class, their blood pressure is spiking right now because they're thinking about how Darwin died in this movie.
And God bless everyone. I understand the optics. I understand it. I get that. However, folks, you cannot get me as a comics first person to be like, yeah, Darwin. We need justice for Darwin. You're a Deadly Genesis character? Are you kidding? You can't ask me to do that. And I've had to stay silent for years because I obviously understand what the core issue with that scene is. But in my broken mind, I'm like, from Deadly that guy?
Yeah.
Listen, the actor has gotten to heal playing Mr.
Great for him
Terrific, and
personally.
we've
I
all
did see
felt-
him in
We all feel a
Superman.
little better. We all feel a little better.
So good in Superman. So there's not much happening here. The Hellfire Club is pictured as like a rival club
Casino. Which, to be fair, is what they did in the movie. We just forget about it because it's half a scene. Where Moira McTaggart, the CIA spy, gets immediately introduced by stripping down into lingerie. Okay, this movie may be more flawed than I'm remembering.
Yeah.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, that part's not great. So the rival gangster blows up Sebastian Shaw's club, thinking he's killed him. Of course, Sebastian Shaw absorbs energy, kills the other gangsters, and then Riptide and Azazel go back and kill the rest of the rival gangsters guys. At which point, Sebastian frees like Emma Frost's, I guess, power set, and she turns. Well, no, she becomes Diamond because the gangster's beating her.
Yeah,
that's terrible. Ooh,
yeah, he's doing
doing
an abuse.
Oh God.
Here's the problem with her. In a different comic, that could be a big empowering scene. Unfortunately, as drawn, it is an upskirt shot.
I just pointed at that. Ann and I were just looking at that. That's not. It's like, why did you have to do it that way? Like, anyway, I would say this is actively bad.
Yes.
Though oddly in tune with the movie that it is a tie-in to.
Less yellow, though.
Yeah.
A lot less yellow.
It is less yellow. Nightcrawler's dad is here, and this is quite possibly. I don't want any good things for Azazel, but I do find him charming at this point. Now that we have exercised the Draco from like needing to be an important story in continuity, I'm much more chill about Azazel. I'm not pro Azazel, but I'm not as anti Azazel as I used to be.
There's very little on page to actually argue about. He's not there that much.
If you take the Draco out of it,
yeah,
he
barely exists.
This is bad though. Is it as bad as X-Men Prelude to Perdition, a tie-in to a video game that you and me absolutely do not remember which one?
Where's that one that's the prelude to X2?
Which prelude to X2? Because they
made
the
Nightcrawler one that's really
I believe
bad.
Brian K. Vaughan wrote one of them.
Yeah, where is that one? That's really bad.
That one's pretty bad.
I don't remember what that's called.
Oh yeah, I have to say too, the other reason I was excited about this film is because I believe he's kind of a crappy person, but it is directed by the son of Robert Vaughn of My Beloved Man from U.N.C.L.E. fame. So he had the cred to do the 60s.
Is Matthew Vaughn a Nepo baby?
He is, yes.
Amazing.
We're learning things.
X-Men 2 prequel Nightcrawler is at 850. I don't think this is at 850. I think we probably want to go back down to Prelude to Perdition.
Oh boy, yeah.
This ain't a Chuck Austin comic. That's the truth.
No.
Speaking of special features that I need to check out, the X-Men 2 DVD was supposed to have that interview where Chuck Austin says Nightcrawler has 2 dicks, and I've never actually watched that interview. It feels like historically I should watch that interview.
All right, so we're down in the thousands, which is a much longer list now than was previously. I mean, because there's like 100 below 1,000. So, how far down does this go?
You have Mojo Worldwide highlighted, and this is oddly not as good as Mojo Worldwide.
Yeah, is this better or worse than the Mutant X Origins issue?
Worse because no one was expecting Mutant X Origins to be anything. This is better than X-Men Animation Special.
I agree.
1053.
Yeah, but it's just above that.
Yeah, so. This is not as good as the the cartoon adaptation or the comic adaptation of the cartoon adaptation of Days of Future of Dark Phoenix Saga. Excuse me.
So this is our new 1053 X-Men First Class, The High Hand, and we did it. We got some Nightcrawlers in.
We did some
in
Nightcrawler
the
stuff. I
show.
got to hang out with my friends Adam and Anna, which is always a good day. I want to make sure before we leave that we do thank Jean-Frederic for suggesting this fun episode. Again, patreon.com/Battle of the Atom. Hey, Adam, Anna, what do you guys got going on?
Well, you were just on a podcast. Do you want to talk about that?
I was just talking about She-Hulk on a podcast called Mutant Studies 101. People can go check out that. People can go follow me at Sequential Scholars.
She-Hulk's not a mutant. She got a blood transfusion from her brother who got empowered by gamma rays. Anna.
And
not trying to explain comics to you, but
in a Claremont and Alan Davis story relevant to the first comics we talked about this week, she did argue against the Mutant Registration Act in court, so she's a friend to the mutants.
She's the
no
X-Men's
one's disagreeing.
Mhm.
She-Hulk is an ally.
Definitely. But anyway, people can check out that. They can always find me over at Sequential Scholars. We just wrapped up a unit of content on Junji Ito's Frankenstein,
Ooh, timely.
which was lots of fun. We're currently talking about trans representation in manga right now, so we're on all the platforms. Go find us there, and you can find me under my
some
own name
interesting
on the platforms
conversation
too.
about Ramna 1/2 coming up, don't you?
That's an Andrew unit, so you'll have to ask him about that one. Manga is his wheelhouse. But that's where folks can find me. Where can people find you, Adam?
Well, in Anna Adam work, we recently got a chance to see Peter Gallagher of Heathcliff fame live.
Live.
The funniest thing in the world is that I open my Instagram and it says Heathcliff live, and I was like, I'm gonna see what my friend Adam is up to, and then I'm gonna go watch this Heathcliff live stream. And then Adam is at the Heathcliff live stream.
Yeah, so we wrote about that for Comics XF. Go check that out if you're a Cliffhead.
Secret Heathcliff lore revealed.
And normal.
By the way, my favorite thing that you've written in a spell, and that's nothing against your quality. It's just like that delighted me so much.
Oh, it's always fun to write together. You can always follow on Instagram and Blue Sky, Adam Rec. And Zach, what are we up to next week?
Talking about Spider-Man, you know him. He's like Hive, but he's one guy. Till then, folks, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!